he told me when he pulled me over, he was like, I had to call the base or whatever and ask them if it was okay that I pulled you over because I'm not even. I was like, you went through all of that?
All because I didn't
Just
stop at a fucking crosswalk?
It's not like you didn't even have to meet a quota or anything. You just really wanted to like lay down the law.
You must love your job.
Because I
honestly appreciate the passion.
I inconvenienced a family trying to get to the lobster shack. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Youth's over soon. This is the natural law. There's a younger generation knocking at the door. Knocking at the knocking at the knock.
Hey everyone!
Welcome back to Lazy and Entitled. I'm Esther.
And I'm Addy.
We are here after winter break. This is our first episode, getting back to campus, settling into our routine. We just had about 6 weeks away, jam-packed, full of activities.
We get a longer break than most of my peers, I find.
Really do.
It's it feels even longer. It feels like I've just come back to civilization.
Yeah, it's a little bit shocking. It takes probably like a week to get used to being back for sure.
Yeah.
Because I go back home and I like really get into that routine. Well, I know you were away, which we will talk about. But I was home and getting back into the routine and then coming all the way back.
Yeah, it actually does. I forgot. It normally feels like coming back to civilization because most breaks that I have, I'm like living in Vermont, like working on the farm, slinging ice cream or whatever I'm doing. Like it feels like I'm not really interacting with that many people, but I had a very jam-packed
Yeah, you were a traveler. You went away.
Yeah, I was a world traveler. I went to Oaxaca, Mexico.
Tell us about that.
For a month, I was in Oaxaca City. I was practicing Spanish. This past semester, I took a Spanish intensive. It was actually very intense, as the name suggests. It was 4 days a week for 2.5 hours. We would get like a half-ish hour break every day, but it was pretty intense. Yeah, a lot of homework every night, but it definitely paid off. I purposefully chose, I have a lot of friends who are taking an Italian intensive this spring semester and going to Sicily in June, which is like amazing. But I made this choice for myself that I wasn't going to be a sheep and just do what they did because I wanted to study something that I can actually use a lot.
But didn't you speak Spanish before? Or was this your first time taking Spanish?
I did not speak Spanish before.
I was under the impression that this was not your first rodeo.
I took French all through high school.
Oh.
And then, I did a semester of Spanish in 7th grade.
Right,
but that didn't
right. Maybe
stick.
That's what I'm remembering.
That must be what you're banking on.
But how was your trip? What were you doing?
It was great. I was going to school every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then...
Oh my God. So it was like... You didn't really have a break. You just went from school to school.
I went school, back to school.
Damn.
But it was very different. It was sunny, 80 degrees every single day.
Oh my
really
God.
Incredible.
Sounds
kind of whiplash coming back to like under freezing now.
Yeah.
But yes, very, very grateful I got to have that experience. I had literally had the opposite effect that everyone warned me of when I went to Mexico. Here I am expecting that I'm going to get Montezuma's revenge. No, I got fucking constipated for a week. And I've already, literally first episode Guns A-Blazing, I was like, I have such a healthy shit schedule. I poop all the time. I love pooping. So you all know, like, this was fucking me up, like, physically and mentally. I didn't know who I was for a little bit. Like, I was lost.
What do you do without that internal clock?
I know, like, my circadian rhythms were wrecked, literally.
My roommate is actually taking a Spanish class, so I've been hearing a lot of Spanish around the house. Yeah, because all of my roommates, except for me, speak Spanish.
Fluently? Or study it?
No. They can just kind of speak it. Like, they can pick up here and there. Mm-hmm. But, that sounds lovely. Yeah, I was in the cold all of break. I'm seeing everybody come back, their tan faces, their tan skin. I'm like pale and used to the cold. No adjustment process for me. I did get a new puffer though, which was really nice. Kept me really warm.
Oh my God, you really do live in New York, don't you? Is it a black puffer?
No, it is a crazy decision. Light yellow, like butter color. Aritzia Super Puff. I'm sorry, I fell onto the trend, and it's really warm. It's really warm. And I
can't
was
wait to see it.
I'll show it to you. I wore it here. I also got that bag that's on the floor.
Oh, that's
New
cute.
messenger bag. So cute. Manhattan Portage messenger bag. Isn't that what they're called?
We're doing a little product placement in this episode,
Yeah.
huh?
Honestly, they're a great brand. And I had another one last fall that I was borrowing from my friend. And then I decided I needed my own because mine broke last semester, which is tragic. So you went home and you had like the holidays for a little while. And then, you went to the city?
Yep. Home for a week, city for a week, Mexico for a month. And then I literally just got back on Saturday. It's Monday the 29th as we are recording this.
That is cray.
I got back to the U.S. Saturday, late afternoon. Had one day of just like chilling in the city. Then last night got back to school and like immediately back into action.
I was planning on coming back like 2 weeks before the semester started so I could ease myself back into the environment. But then I could only get shifts at like the coffee shop that I work at over holidays and stuff like that in the last 2 weeks. So I had to wait that whole time and then work and come back. I came back on Friday. So I was just like home, hanging out with the fam, seeing old friends, going to museums, stuff like that, thrifting, blah bitty blue, working at the coffee shop. I love being a barista. It is my favorite thing. And then I'm here now. Christmas was crazy at my house, actually. We all got COVID.
Oh, you did?
Well, I didn't get COVID, but it was as if I did. My sister brought her boyfriend, and then the night of Christmas, after she had left the house, texted us that he had COVID. And we were supposed to leave for our very fancy ski resort vacation that my grandma had booked for us in Vermont. We were staying in these condos.
No.
And so, like, half of my family ended up not being able to come. And it was myself, my little sister who's 15, and my big sister who's 30 stuck in this like very nice condo, kind of just like isolating by ourselves with our like grandparents and cousins on one side and my parents on the other.
Skiing?
We did go skiing.
Good. I mean, it's outside. You're like,
yeah, it was fine. And we were testing the whole time. We were all negative. It was just Una who got it, my baby sister.
oh no.
And yeah, so it was fine, but it was like
Have you had it before?
Girl, have I? I got it on the first round, like before the vaccine was even out. Very beginning.
What? I didn't know that.
Girl, I lost my smell for like a year.
What?
It was really a scare. And it was also during like, you don't know how long it lasts and all this stuff. So it was like really scary.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. It was a really crazy experience. It was like the first lockdown. And I didn't realize that I couldn't smell. And then all of a sudden it clicked for me. And I was like, wait, I can't smell anything. And then I never came back.
That's scary.
It was
it's
really
back now,
bad.
right?
Thankfully it is. It's not as strong. Like
Really?
it's actually just not as strong. But you know what? I'll take what I can get.
The first time I had it was like the Omicron wave in 2021.
Oh my God.
Like that really intense
Yup.
one, like right at the beginning of 2021.
I remember that. I'm honestly surprised that I didn't get it this break. I was anticipating
And
it.
your two best friends had it.
My two best friends had it. It was crazy. And there was this massive outbreak of COVID at the coffee shop that I work at also. And I didn't get it then, which was so lovely. I love working at this coffee shop. There's just so much like mid-30-year-old drama, small town drama that you just get like dropped into when you show back up, because I only work there in like summers and winters when I go home. And I'm like, all right, fill me in. What's going on? And I just get all that yummy gossip. It's like the local drama.
That local gossip.
That local tea. I feel like I turned into a high schooler when I went back home, because me and Beatrice, my little sister, she's 15, she's a sophomore, she was just really bringing me into the drama of high school, and just I felt so high schooler again. So Snapchatty, so what should I say back? So, you know what I mean?
What is even getting you about that? Snapchatty.
She wow, that culture. It's just, I was talking to my friends about it last night, actually.
You know, there's some college students who still participate in that.
I mean,
it's kind of.
I have to be honest. I am one of them. I use my Snapchat still to talk to approximately 2 people, my absolute best friends, and, go look at my memories. I do not use it in the same way.
I do check out my memories.
The memories are
from
really
time to time.
powerful, yeah, because they just really show you where you've been and how much you've grown.
But really, there are people who still, at our ripe age, use
It's very
use Snapchat as their primary mode of
they're like odd me on
communication.
Snap.
I'm not trying to hate, but I also am because grow up. Use your phone number.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you have a phone number, like, you know, it's a little bit more mature, you could say.
When are you gonna go apply for a job interview and hey, just hit me on Snap?
Yeah, like my little Bitmoji peeking up on the ledge when you're typing. You can have Snapchat Premium now. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Yeah, you have to pay for it. I just found out from the 15-year-olds. And, like, I went to this high school, so I know all the seniors because they were freshmen. I was a senior. And I'm not going to lie. I felt kind of cool. They were all like, oh, my God, Esther, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hey, guys.
I'm good. Just have bleached eyebrows.
Yeah,
now.
oh, my God, I did bleach my eyebrows, y'all. It's real.
She looks just like Mia Goth.
I do.
In X.
I only watched that movie once, and I wasn't a fan.
Yeah,
if I'm
wasn't
going to
that
be
good.
honest. I thought visually it was really cool. I thought storyline was not there for me. It's kind of boring. I just want, like, a psychological experience when I'm
like
watching
Stanley
a horror.
Kubrick experience. Eyes Wide
mhm.
Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. I
Yeah.
also watched that over break. Very good. I've watched it before, but it was lovely.
It's a good one. It's a classic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've never seen The Shining. And my stepdad tells me all the time that's not true and that he has shown it to me many a time, but I have no memory of ever watching The Shining.
We should watch it together.
So I think I need to have a Kubrick binge.
There's honestly a lot of classics that I haven't watched.
A lot of the classics are like real time commitments. They're hundreds
that's
of
the thing.
pages. They're 3+ hours
Yeah.
on the screen. Like that's a lot of attention for me to put out.
Sometimes I just want to be able to put something on and zone out. Watching a movie that requires effort, like an engagement. I mean,
And
this is
like-
kind of
and like-
embarrassing. I'm a film major. I'm a filmmaker, and I'm saying this, but it's true. Like, I want to watch something kind of shitty sometimes.
Sometimes you
or,
want
you know,
something
basic.
thought-provoking, and sometimes you want something like a little piece of candy.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
watch.
You know what I started watching over break? Survivor. It becomes extremely boring after one season, but I'll just tell you that one season is
It's
like
really
a pot
good.
of gold.
I keep hearing things
tragic.
about Yellow Jacket, which I haven't.
Oh,
watched.
yeah, I've been hearing about that
But
too.
I'm such a little scaredy cat. Like I didn't want to watch it. I needed a show when I was in Mexico, but I didn't want to watch Yellow Jackets because I was like, I need to fly home on a plane. But now that I'm back, well, I don't know. I have a flight I need to take in March, but I think that's
March.
enough time.
Okay, I think you have some preparation for that. Also, where the hell are you going?
My cousin is getting married in Edinburgh, in Scotland.
Oh my God, jail.
I
That's gonna
know.
be awesome.
I've never been to Europe before. I'm very excited for my
Wow,
Euro
so-
tour.
Are you gonna?
No, it's just I'm just
Lazy and
going to-
entitled. We're coming to Europe. Get ready.
Oh my God,
we'll
you
release
should come
our
with
dates.
me.
Oh my
We
God.
could do a live show in Edinburgh.
I would love that. I don't see that happening just yet, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let me tell you about us getting our Christmas tree, shall I? We went back. I think it was Christmas Eve. We went out to get my Christmas tree. Beatrice, my little sister, she is friends with
Wait,
this.
is she 15?
My 15-year-old sister and I and my dad and my other little sister, whatever, you know her age at this point. We all went out to this Christmas tree farm where you have to cut down your own tree. Very, you know, country life. However,
Very like cottagecore.
it was super cottagecore, yeah. And we had to like have a saw, you know, like a cart, drag the tree, except it was dark and like 8 degrees outside. It was so brutal. But we did find a beautiful, massive tree. We have such nice tall ceilings at my house, and I love decorating the tree.
We have a gorgeous mansion with
Literally
very
shut the
high
hell up. We have like a
ceilings.
3-bedroom house that happens to have a fucking tall ceiling in it. It's not my fault. And it was so fun. I love decorating the tree. I'm in charge of lights.
I took a weekend. So when our group was in Oaxaca, we had one free weekend. So we had organized trips the first 2 weekends. We went to all these amazing ancient archaeological sites and just crazy like nature-esque tourist attractions. It was very fun, very cool. And then on the 3rd weekend, we had a free weekend that we could do whatever we want. So I and a couple other students. What is the proper?
Some students
A couple other students and I took a trip to Puerto Escondido. We went to Puerto Escondido, and Oaxaca City is like sort of in the mountains. It's 5,000 something feet elevation, and then in the same state of Oaxaca, more to the west. So it's on the Pacific. There are like towns and cities on the water, and we went to Puerto Escondido, which is supposed to be, according to Google Maps, a 6 to 8 hour drive, which is already very intense.
Louise.
But we decided it was worth it. We got like a cheap Airbnb we all split the cost of. And so we took this van. We had to take it at 7:30 at night because we finished our classes and like our teaching at like 6:30. And then we had to get our stuff together and then get to the station where the van leaves from. So we leave at 7:30. It's also like notoriously this drive through the mountains and down to the beach is like, if you get car sick, you will be miserable on this drive. I don't tend to get car sick, but even I, like reading what it can be like on this drive, even I like loaded up on Dramamine before I got on this van. This night was one of the most like fever dream-esque real life experiences that has ever happened to me. So we get on this van, we're thinking it's gonna be 6.5, 7 hour drive. It takes 9.5 hours. We get on there at 7:30. We do not get off until almost 5 in the morning. We get off and we're like, thank fucking God, we're here. Let's just get to our Airbnb, go to sleep. Our Airbnb is a 10-15 minute walk from the station that we get off at. And
we're back in.
We decide that we're going to walk to the Airbnb that we got. So we start walking down the road. We have to cross a highway to get to the road that we need to get to. We start walking down the road. Couple minutes in, couple street dogs start to lightly trail behind us. Immediately, okay. I have never had a pet dog, so I don't know how to. Domesticated dogs freak me out. So I'm like, oh my God, there's some dogs following us. Everyone's like, it's fine. Like, they're friendly. That one has a collar. We start walking. As we go, it feels like we're in like doggy West Side Story, like walking down the street. All these like new little packs of like scraggly little dogs start coming and start inching closer and closer and closer to us.
Why you?
It's like not all of us.
Like I know, but why you guys?
Because it's 5 a.m. The streets are dead except for these packs of dogs who literally start like they start picking each other up as they go. Like 2 more over here, 2 more from the right, 2 more from the left. And I'm like freaking out. Like I'm really scared. Here I am thinking none of them are scared. No one else is saying anything. They're just like, whatever, being mature and keeping it to themselves. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, I'm so scared. Like, what's going on? There's so many dogs. And I was like, oh my God, I've never had a dog before, you guys. Like, I've never had a dog before. And then everyone's chill until these dogs on one corner, as we're rounding the corner, they start barking. Then all the other dogs start barking. And then everyone else, you can see there's like a shift where everyone's like, oh, fuck. Like, we're just surrounded by these like
was trying to tell you guys.
Feral dogs. We finally get to the Airbnb. At this point, everyone admits, like, I was terrified just now. I was like, well, you could have said something. I thought I was the only one freaking out.
I felt really isolated there for a second, you guys.
I felt like I was being a little baby. But we finally got inside, and we brought one extra person than we were supposed to bring to fit in this Airbnb, and it is not a big Airbnb. It's like we go in there, everything is painted bright white. The light is bright white. The only decoration
that sounds about right.
The only decoration are these like the beginning of a Live Laugh Love sign on the wall that just says live, and we're like, oh my God, they're trying to like motivate us to keep going in these trying times. Like, what is this, like a command? Please just live. Don't get mauled by these dogs. And then so we get in there, and the bedroom that 3 of us are supposed to sleep in with the big bed is literally dead bolted shut. We cannot get in there. We are trying. Like, someone has like a bobby pin they're shoving in there. Somehow, by the grace of God, the Airbnb host picks up the call. We're all like delirious and terrified and so annoyed from this long, and like also coming out of our Dramamine fever dream haze. He sends someone down. It takes a couple minutes. 3 people had to like hide in the bathroom so that like he didn't know that we had more people than we were supposed to have. So people, and it's like there's no AC in the bathroom or in like the like living room or anything. So they're just,
like in the shower with the curtain closed.
They're like stripping in the bathroom, like laying on the tile floor. He comes and he was like, "Can someone give me a light?" And I was like, "Sure." I gave him my like flashlight. He like starts holding it in one, just like pounding on the door with the other hand, hitting the end of the screwdriver, trying to like.
So there was no method. Like no method. You could have done this yourself.
5:30, 6 in the morning. He's just like pounding away. Literally, like chips of the wooden door are falling onto the ground. Bang, bang, bang. I'm like halfway into a panic, just trying to like keep my shit together, sitting on the ground. I don't know how he opened the door. He didn't say anything. He was like, "Okay, it's open. Don't close it." Okay, cool. Like he leaves, and we're like, "Okay, thank you." Finally,
imagine you had gotten locked in there.
Like, it was literally crazy. And then the second night, I'll keep this one short, but this one was honestly even crazier. But the second night, I didn't grow up next to the ocean. Like, I am not used to knowing how to handle a ravenous sea. Like, I don't know how to handle
waves?
I don't know big waves, like
like
scary waves,
like surfer waves.
Surfer waves, like to me they're scary, but
gnarly.
Everyone that I was with, I guess, was a really good ocean swimmer, so they were like, "Let's go skinny dipping in Sikatola Beach," which is like notoriously a dangerous beach with riptides. That is not good for tourists or beginner surfers or anyone, but they're like, "Let's go swimming on the beach." I was like, "I'm just gonna hang back. Like, I'll hang back on the sand and I'll maybe like frolic in the surf a little bit. Like, I'll frolic in the break of the waves." So I was doing that, you know. They all go skinny dipping drunk at 2 a.m.
Let me just tell you.
In this dangerous ass. They're fine. They were all fine. I was being dramatic, but like, what happens is they're all swimming away in the water. Suddenly, this 4-wheeler is driving down the beach. Lights. I'm like, whatever. Someone's just taking a joyride. No, it was the police. The policia. And they were like,
"Oh no,
you can't do this. If you want to go to a nude beach, there's one an hour north." But
were you just standing there on the shore naked?
I wasn't naked. I wasn't
like, "You guys, I'm gonna hang back naked back here."
I wasn't naked, but they saw like all of the clothes of everyone on the side, and they were like,
"That's
"Are your
just mine.
friends here?"
I'm layering.
I'm really cold. But no. So then someone else comes out of the water when the police get here. She's butt naked. They're like shining lights on her. She's like trying to cover up.
Oh my God.
And then basically they're like, "You guys have to pay a lot of money or else you have to go to jail for 36 hours. People are like trying to fake cry at this point. So 3 people go to an ATM that's a 10-minute walk away to try and get money out. During this time, I don't know what happened, you guys, but I like snapped into gear. I was like speaking as fluently as I have ever spoken. I was buttering up. Might I add, I didn't even have to pay this fine because I wasn't naked. They were like, "You're the only one who doesn't have to pay." I was like, "Damn straight I am." And I was still a fucking ally to my friends because I started buttering them up. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. We're just here. We're teaching kids in Oaxaca," which is true. We were, but we're like, "Yeah, we're here like teaching kids in Oaxaca City. We're just here studying. We're just 20, like, and we didn't even know, like, beaches are really different in the U.S., blah, blah, blah." And then
I've never seen a beach before. I'm sorry.
And I didn't know that there was police in Mexico.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys existed. I'm sorry.
But
I'm just a girl.
Like, we have this long, it was honestly like an enemies to lovers arc because they were so mad at us at the beginning. And then like me and the 2 other people who stayed back from the ATM are like chatting them up. At one point, like my friend was like, the policeman in the like 2 police people in Spanish were asking, because we were like, "We don't have the money to pay this fine. Like, we don't have this money in our bank account." It was like a couple thousand pesos, which is like a couple $100, but still, like,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, especially for people who like are at school without a consistent job. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So she was like, "I don't have the money to pay this," in Spanish, and they were like, "Okay, could your parents help you?" And she was like, I think trying to say, "My parents can't help me," but what she really said, roughly translated to, "I don't have." And they were like, "Oh, you don't have parents?" And I could see, like, in her brain, I could see her being like, "Should I say yes or no?" They're like, "You don't have parents?" And she pauses for a second. She goes, "No."
No.
And after that, they were a lot nicer to us.
You know what? She wasn't trying to do that, but if that's the way the cookie crumbles, then that's...
No, it
yeah, exactly.
happened
Works
that
in
way.
your favor.
And then everyone got back. They were like, the ATM was broken. They were like, "We don't really care. You don't have to pay it anymore. We know you guys are here to teach." So just be careful and don't do this again. Give me. And then one of them was like, you can just give us whatever is in your wallet. Like, I honestly think it was fake to begin with.
Well, good for you for like sticking up for yourself and being like, nah. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you just been like,
fine.
okay.
Imagine had we gone to fucking 36-hour jail.
That would have been crazy. I would have loved to hear about that.
I know, that would have made for a better story.
I had a run-in with the cops as well, actually, over break. It was much more mellow. But I was driving to this ski vacation, which was like 5 hours away from my house. I think it was a 4.5-hour drive. It was practically Canada. So to drive all the way past, where I grew up in Vermont, all that jazz. And I was driving with Mariah, my oldest sister, and we're really, really close. And so we were just chatting.
And how old is she?
She's 30.
She's 30.
She's 10 years my elder. And we were just driving, and we were talking so much that we missed our exit, and we showed up at the Canadian border because the exit that we had to take was right before the Canadian border. And so we show up at the Canadian border. We're like, what the fuck do we do? We, managed to get off of the highway and, do a loop back onto the highway to go back the other direction.
On the highway?
Right, yeah. On the highway. But there was a fucking cop, waiting there to, I don't know, patrol suspicious
activity.
Loops, suspicious activity around the border. And I get so nervous when anytime I'm driving at night and I see lights behind me, I'm like, that's a cop. They're going to pull me over even though I'm doing nothing wrong. So I see the cop pull out behind me as I'm getting back onto the highway, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, Mariah, they're going to pull us over. They're going to pull us over. Why else would they pull out? And she's she was so chill about it. She's like, no, they're not. What the hell are you talking about? That's not even a cop. I was like, yes, it is. Both hands sweating on the wheel. For 10 minutes, they were just behind me, and then they were going alongside of me, trying to, as if they were going to pass me, and then going back behind me. Being so fucked up and rude. And they pulled me over. They came over to the window. They're like, you pulled a suspicious loop at the Canadian border. What are you doing tonight? I was like, I'm sorry. I was just talking my sister's ear off, and I happened to miss the exit. I gave him my license, but what sucks is I have a New York license.
Wait, what's so bad? What's so suspicious about going to the border, not crossing it, and then coming back?
I don't know, people with drugs and they are scared.
Just dropping them at the border for someone else to pick up?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
They, cold feet.
Cold feet.
I guess so.
Doing a massive drug deal on the other side of the border.
I didn't go through the border. This isn't fair. I was just turning around, fucking harass somebody
good thing
else.
I didn't find all the coke in the back of your car.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Really
that would have been
bad.
I just had a lot of ski clothes back there. But it just sucks because I don't have my Vermont license plate anymore, my Vermont ID, so people don't understand that I'm a local. So he was really putting on this tough guy show. And then as soon as I gave him my license, and I was like, he was like, where are you guys going? I was like, we're going skiing, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, you came at the worst time. It's not very snowy. And I was like, yeah, well, we're from here. And as soon as I told him that, he just was like, all right, you guys are good to go. I'm like, okay, cool.
Vermont
Thanks very
pride.
much. Vermont, yeah, ally.
I don't know what it is about. I feel like even if I've done nothing wrong, I put on the most I was about to say God-fearing, but honestly I act like a Catholic schoolgirl every time I have any interaction with the cops.
Sit up straight.
Hi,
I'm sir. How are you?
Hi, how are ya? I'm so sorry. Yeah. How's the weather today? I bet it's really tiring sitting on the side of the road all day. I'm really sorry.
Your job must be
Mister, your job must be really hard.
Gee golly whiz, thanks, sir. Have a good night. Mariah was like,
it works. It works for me. There, I was like, you just have a great day, don't ya?
I'm grinning ear to ear. Hi. Mariah was like, I'm really glad you handled that because I get really angry at cops. I was like,
I know. I drive one. I'm like, fucking pigs. Then they come up to the window and I'm like, hi, sir. How are you? How are you? Hey.
It just is so scary. And then they come around the other side of your car. They're not even
It is really scary.
When it's two they're double fisting you. They're coming from both sides. And they're bright ass lights. Leave me be. I've gotten pulled over 4 times, and every single time it's been for something that I'm just not doing wrong. Every time. It's
I've
never been my fault.
4 times, and it's always been for something that I've done wrong.
Girl. can't be doing that.
Oh, it was so embarrassing. When I was like 16, I got pulled over with all of my friends in the back of the car because I was in Maine visiting a friend. And I didn't stop like at one of the crosswalks because we don't really have like beach crosswalks where pedestrians have fucking right of way all the time.
Again,
So
with the beach culture, she just doesn't understand.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I missed all the beach protocol.
We grew up landlocked as fuck.
Sorry, I grew up swimming in ponds with snapping turtles. I know
catching frogs and tadpoles, all that shit.
Yeah. If you need me to identify the difference between toad eggs and frog eggs, I got you covered. But if you need me to know the laws of traffic
at a beach town,
I'm lost. But yeah, I got pulled over because I didn't give them the right of way, and there was like a family waiting to cross. It's not like they were in the middle of crossing, and I just plowed right on through. But I got pulled over anyway, and it was by this fucking cop on a motorcycle. Pretentious already,
shit.
Like that's stupid already. On a motorcycle. And
Big
he
daddy.
wasn't even in his area. Like, he wasn't in his county, but he saw me do that. He told me when he pulled me over, he was like, I had to call the base or whatever and ask them if it was okay that I pulled you over because I'm not even. I was like, you went through all of that?
All because I didn't stop at a fucking crosswalk?
It's not like you didn't even have to meet a quota or anything. You just really wanted to, like, lay down the law.
You must love your job.
Because I
honestly appreciate the passion.
I inconvenienced a family trying to get to the lobster shack. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't hit them.
I am sad, girl. I actually
They can wait 5 seconds for their fucking lobster roll. It's not that big of a deal.
I'm like, when I get pulled over, I'm like, oh, my mom handles all this for me. I just don't understand how it works. I got pulled over because my registration was a year overdue, which, by the way, I am so lucky for this, but my mom does deal with that for me because it just doesn't, she does it with her car, and so it's easier for her to just do it. And so I, like, literally had no idea. But they pulled me over, and I was just like, oh, my God, I'm sorry. My mom does that for me. I don't know how any of this works. I, like, turned all red in the face.
Wait, what?
So
Registration?
I'm like, what is that?
I got pulled over one time. They asked for my license and registration, and in my glove compartment, I also had my previous write-up from the last time I got pulled over. And I handed it to him, and then I was like, oh, oops.
You're like, oh, I just want to be transparent here.
He said, does this happen to you a lot? No.
What the hell are you talking about? Shut up, silly.
No, silly.
Silly, have you ever heard of a coincidence before?
Have you ever heard of an honest mistake?
I'm just a little ditzy sometimes, that's all. Get out of here. It's just after seeing, like, I've been pulled over. I've watched a cop pass me on the other side of the road and pull a fucking U-turn and follow me. I can't relax with a cop around because I just know that they'll do anything. They will do anything to come after me. They want me.
I think my biggest humbling experience was like getting pulled over when I was wearing a bikini, and I was like, got this shit in the bag. And he came over, he was like, that'll be $80. I was like, what? You think I'm ugly? What the fuck? I was so pissed. I was like, didn't get to play the woman card. Like, what the fuck?
I thought that's how it goes.
I thought that's how it worked. I was like,
just bat your eyelashes.
Like,
you're okay.
Yes, like, I'm so lucky. Like, this is the best time to get pulled over.
Damn, girl. I'm sorry that one didn't work for you. Oh, boy. All right. Anything else?
Know. That's all I pulled out a little something, and that's it.
Yeah, you really did. I think that one thing I was thinking about, like, a little bit recently, like, over break, is how it feels to go home somewhere that's so close to your school. Like, I live an hour away. I go home, and I was just living in the cold for 6 weeks. And to watch so many people go away to all these hot... Sorry, Addy, to call you out here. No, but, like, there's so many different ways that winter break can go for people. And just moving back home and turning, like, into my old self again is so interesting. It's a little bit depressing, but it's also I don't know. I mean, there's a lot there. It's really nice to be able to go home and just fall back into a routine and to rest and to be with your family and, you know, to see old friends and just be in this very, like, hometown experience, but also watching everybody, or, like, such a large majority of people be in the sun, or, you know, even my friends who just happen to live somewhere where it's warm. and I'm just in like the cold, an hour away from school. I wonder what the transition is like between going, like having to fly home to LA. I feel so glad. I honestly love living so close to school.
I'm
but it's
really glad
definitely a different experience.
I'm a drive away from the school instead of a flight.
But it's depressing. Like, I live in a small town on a dirt road in the forest, and in order to be anywhere relevant, you have to drive 35 minutes. And I get bored so easily.
Like, relevant also on a very small scale. Relevant, like, town would not be nationally known.
Relevant meaning you want anything at all, you have to drive. You can
go to a movie theater.
Right.
Relevant meaning you can get a coffee
or a thing of ice cream at night if you want a little pick me up, a little treat.
A 24-hour gas station, that is a novelty around
Yeah,
here.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this, I don't know, I think it was good for me to be home just like experiencing that, but it was also lonesome. I wasn't necessarily lonely, but it was very like a solitude experience for me, especially because I live in a town now that I moved to halfway through high school. So I only have like a handful of friends there because I moved there and then it was COVID and then I graduated. And so I have some really good best friends in the area, but there's only a few of them. And all of my other friends are back home in Vermont, which is even farther away. So yeah, I feel like it's much harder to make plans and see people when you live in such a small area. Even though that doesn't really make sense, it's just all being in the same place at the same time is kind of rare.
I'm really jealous of the city kids because I do always feel like every time there's a break, especially dating a city kid is tough because I'm like, okay, now we're parting ways for however long. I'm going to go home and do literally nothing. Like, sit in my room and like kind of rot away and like walk around in the snow for a couple minutes, and you're gonna go out to a bar every night and go see live music all the time and have these massive gatherings in the park, and like I'm not doing that because there's literally
that doesn't exist.
There's not enough people who live here to even have a party like that. Like that is so foreign to me, like going home and like having a really active social life. Even my social life in the summer is like my friend group when we see each other home now over the summer. Like when we hang out, it's like, let's get together at 5. We're going to have a glass of wine, maybe cook some dinner. Let's go home at, 8:30. We all have our knitting to do, and then we've got to hit the hay at 10.
Yeah.
And then I call Gus, and I'm like, what are you up to? It's like 12:30 a.m. He's like, I'm just about to go out. I'm just about to go to the bar.
Yeah, it's the small town social life is just a completely different
really
experience.
Different.
But I love it. I was hanging out with my best friend from high school and another one of my really good friends from high school, and that was the first time that all three of us, I went to a tiny high school, so 3 people out of the grade being together is a decent amount, and it felt so surreal to be driving around doing exactly what we would have done in high school together, which is driving around at night and like stopping and doing a little photo shoot, getting back in the car, going and getting food, doing another photo shoot here. My best friend is a photographer.
A lot of gas station snacks.
Yes.
It's like about it.
It's, 7 p.m., pitch black outside, you're driving around, you take some pictures, you go into town, you get your food, you go find another destination, listening to music. Parking, like you just park somewhere and just talk in the car for maybe 3 hours.
Yep.
But it was really fun. In the summer, I would have just gone to the lake or something.
In the summer, it honestly feels like out of a fairy tale sometimes, like running around barefoot and just like stripping and jumping in a random body of water.
Yeah.
Like you can just do that. That's what you do after hour. Like everything closes. All the restaurants are closed at 8. You get in the car with your friends and you just drive and you like just walk barefoot down this like path and you jump in the water and then you run around and
you're in an apple orchard dancing in the moonlight. It is magical.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But and then in the winter it like really sucks.
In the winter it's definitely hard.
Nothing to
do. Oh, actually, for the first time I was offered wine at dinner, which is a big deal.
You're a big kid
my
now.
grandma gave me a glass of wine. She was like, Esther, would you like some wine? And I was like, is this a fucking prank? Like, should I remind her of my age or should I just go with it? I just went with it and she did not realize anything. I felt like a different member of the family. It was crazy. She's a stickler with the rules.
It was
big. She said white or red. I said red, bitch.
I
kidding.
said red, you old hag. Pour me up.
No. I said red, please. Thank you, ma'am.
That's how I talk to the cops. They say, have you been drinking? No, not at all. But if I were to, I would have red wine, please.
Red wine, bitch. I feel like talking about breaks is so hard because I was talking about this today. Like, so much happened. I did so much. I also did nothing at the same time. I'm back and now I'm just ready to be here. Let's start fresh. Like, I don't want to have to go back and explain every single detail and feel freaked out that I didn't explain one thing that happened that was actually really fun or bad or significant in my timeline. Like, I just want to be like, it was good.
All of you guys asked me how Oaxaca was. This is the answer that I've literally given everyone. I was like, I don't know. Just like kind of one of those things where like you're just kind of doing it when you're there. And now that I'm back, it's like I'm back, you know?
Yep.
That's what I've been saying to everyone. I haven't given them anything.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what I keep saying? It was a mixed bag. I don't really know. I kind of just, it happened.
Yeah, that's how I feel about my break
They're
as
like,
well.
oh, okay. They glean that I don't really want to say more. It takes too much energy. Like, to even remember what I did.
And also, it's like, why would I? That's not here. I'll be like, I had a good time. Objectively, I had a good time. I had this. It was up and it was down and it was blah, 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 blah. And now I'm here. Let's just
can we
start
just
back
hang
where
out?
we left off.
Let's just resume.
You want to ask me what I did today instead of last week?
It's like when you know what? It's like sort of when you watch a new episode of a show that if you finish a season of a show and then you start watching the second and then you have to get the recap of the whole last season, you're like, I just watched the fucking last episode. Why do I need to watch this? I always skip through. That's why, you know what? I hope nobody cares what I did over break, and I'm not really going to ask them what they did over break because I just want to skip through and get to the next episode.
Skip. 10 seconds forward, 10 seconds forward. Thank you very much.
Unless there's something like really juicy.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
And
that's,
hear about it, but,
right.
But, it's just like family time. I don't care. Okay.
But yeah, well, I hope you cared about what I had to say tonight.
I did. Of course I did.
I love you. I missed you so much. I'm so
love
glad to
you
be
too.
back. We are so excited for the future of this podcast. We have so many fun plans for you guys. Get ready for it. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
We're so glad to be back, and we're always constantly being hounded by our producers. So if you like this podcast, leave us a review, and a good one at that. You barely have to do anything. You just have to click those 5 stars and just, you're done.
You're good to go. Please do it.
That is all that we want for our late holiday gift.
Yes,
is a 5-star review from you.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. This episode has been produced, as always,
by Radio Free Rhinecliff, as well as myself, Esther.
And myself, Addy. And Matty and Jen of Radio Free Rhinecliff. Okay,
thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
This is the natural law. There's a younger generation knocking at the door. Knocking at the knock, knocking at the knock.